you are obviously much smarter in the recruiting world than I am. What does a night like tonight do for this program when this is their biggest recruiting night, where they've got, close to 100 different prospects there? What can a night like tonight do for the program?
I think the biggest thing, and people need to forget about the win and loss aspect of it, I think, to an extent. Obviously getting around the coaches is huge. Getting around players that maybe a lot of these guys envy is huge. And then getting around the commits and stuff like that are guys that are already committed to the program is big. But not only that, but I think kids want to see atmosphere, especially the big time ones. Guys that are getting recruited by every team in the country and have been on, 5 to 10 visits, throughout their high school career, and they're going to Alabama, they're going to, Texas, they're going to Ohio State, they're going to Michigan, and then they end up at Notre Dame, having a night game against your rival at USC, where predominantly Notre Dame fans, because Notre Dame does tend to sometimes not have, predominantly they do, but there are definitely times when they play like a Georgia or a Nebraska or, whoever at home. Those teams that
wear red, and red really stands out and makes it look like there's more opposing fans than there actually are.
Exactly. But I think the good thing about USC being their biggest rival is that USC fans, being from the LA area, can be somewhat fickle. I don't think they always travel well. And because
especially
they play
Notre Dame, Northern Indiana in late October.
Right. And I think their players said best in what was it? I think it was Keontae Ingram in that video that went viral when he found out it'd be 40 degrees. So certainly, but yeah, no, USC is obviously one of the best programs, historically, but their fan base, like I mentioned, kind of like Dodger fans, can be a little fickle at times, and they don't necessarily travel well. And so having it be a sold out crowd, from the looks of it, with Notre Dame, having a really nice performance, that's always going to be something. And so I guess to answer your question a little bit better is it really just comes down to what these kids are looking for. And when they see it all come to fruition, like they did today, they had a 5-star QB commit from LSU in town as well. And this was probably their best passing performance of the year. Maybe albeit Florida State. It certainly seems kind of like, on, at least from watching, like I said, like sometimes paper stats are paper stats. Today just felt like a better offensive performance. And so Walker Howard being in attendance and watching that, I'm sure that helps a little bit. And, he's used to seeing LSU home games, and with his dad being a former LSU player, I'm sure he's grown up going to LSU games his entire life. Being able to see something maybe a little bit different, like he did today, maybe that can change a kid's mind. But I think the night game against your biggest rival certainly doesn't help, or certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Got an interesting comment from Bow Down to Ohio State Dynasty, and I know there's not too many people that hate Ohio State more than you, Danny, so I figured you'd enjoy this one.
Yeah, listen, Notre Dame's not Ohio State, but in the same breath as this comment, Ohio State lost a game to a team at home as well that has a loss in Oregon. And the Notre Dame loss to Cincinnati wasn't great. And yes, USC's not terrific right now, but the programs are having very similar seasons. They're both starting to play their best football right now. Neither one of them looked very good early. Both of them have a loss. I think if you're commenting on a Notre Dame video at 11:30 at night on a Saturday, Eastern time, that is, I know you are not in the same time zone as I, Nathan.
I'm going out after this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I think that probably speaks to the relevancy of the program, because if they were really irrelevant, your level of care would be much lower than commenting on our video.
Yeah, not to argue too much with the commenters, because we do enjoy it, and bow down to the Ohio State Dynasty. Hope you comment some more, because it's certainly me and Danny can certainly handle the banter. I'll say that.
But, and also, Ohio State's not a dynasty. They've won, one national championship in the last 20 years.
And there you go. Notre Dame's won one in the last 30 or whatever. So it's pretty close. But no, with that said, one thing I was going to mention is one of the things I love about the Notre Dame Isn't Relevant crowd, and essentially going based on what you said, is they consistently have some of the best viewerships of any program. And that's, obviously they have their own network, and I'm sure that helps, but having their own network plays into the relevancy just a little bit, I think. And the fact that they haven't won a national championship since 1988 and haven't, really been maybe considered the best team since 1993. Ironically, the year I was born.
Me too.
So there you go. But no, they're always going to be relevant. They have one of the biggest brands in the entire country. And I really don't think that can be argued. Like you mentioned, they're not Ohio State. They're not Alabama. They're not Clemson when Clemson's good, because Clemson certainly isn't good this year.
No,
but,
they're not.
And they're not this air raid offense like, the Oklahomas and stuff bring. But, I mean, I don't think that you're going to find 7 or 8 teams that are consistently better than them, at least since 2016 or since the 2016 fiasco.
Yeah.